Hi there, welcome.
Hello.
You're right, Emma. How you doing?
Very good, thank you.
Good. Well, thanks for joining us. Well, it was both is a mutual thing that we decided to do from a conversation we had the other day, and it's about grounding and why it's so important to be grounding now more than ever, but needs to be a daily practice for our health, our well-being, and to navigate this
Everything. And
chaotic world.
we actually probably do quite a lot of grounding in our daily lives anyway without realizing it, but there's always more, isn't there, that we can do. So it's a good topic of discussion.
Definitely. So what we're going to do is we're going to really kind of explore it together in terms of why it's so important, what it actually means, and how we can do it. So we're both going to do a little bit of a sharing of a technique that works for us, and it may resonate, maybe resonating differently with different people. But it's really just to say there isn't just one way of doing it. It's what feels right for us, isn't it?
Yeah, that's really important, I think, isn't it? It's like there's so many different things you can do to be grounded, to get grounded. And I think there's sometimes it's like you must do this to be grounded. Well, no, actually you do what's right for you to be grounded. But also we quite often need reminders of what we can do. So I know I forget, I do certain things every day, but there's other things that I could do that would be really helpful. So it's really useful to have those reminders. And just going through my notes for today, it's reminded me of stuff that I'd forgotten about. So that's always a good start. So I've already achieved.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's having that toolkit, isn't it, really? So whereas one thing might work for you one day, might not necessarily work the next day.
That's a really good point.
Yeah. And I think also it's about creating awareness of yourself and what's going on with you, because we can be in such a state of overwhelm and chaos and get really caught up into it to the point that we can't see it. It's the old saying, wood for the trees.
And sometimes when our emotions are higher, we need a different type of grounding to when we're in a calmer space.
Completely. Definitely. And if you're not grounded, that overwhelm just perpetuates, doesn't it? And it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And sometimes it feels harder to get out of that old pattern that we're so used to. So what I mean, if you're cool with this, then Emma, I'll just go on into, because what I do is for my work is a hands-on therapist, and it's literally the mind, body, heart and soul is how I work. So I see it very physically with the people and how they can heal through their body. But all of this is going through the physical aspects of ourselves. So when your body's presenting pain, it's often reflecting some emotional pain. And it can also be showing ancestral pain, which is classed as imprinting. And so it's using this wonderful miracle, our bodies, to process our healing, to come to a space of wholeness. And that's how I work. And grounding is so important. And ultimately, I think for me, from my experiences, it's about being safe in your body. I mean, everyone's had different experiences in their lives, and some, better, but there's always been some point where someone's maybe not felt safe, and which has then effectively probably disconnected you from your body.
Well, then you're in a fear place, or a place of fear. So then you become disconnected. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And, from my experience, and I've known, from doing Reiki, doing this energy work, knowing the buzzword ground, and I'm like, yes, must be doing this. Got to do that. Yes, I'm doing grounding. I'm doing my roots. I'm going outside. I'm hugging trees. Yet I'm still not feeling grounded. It's like, what's going on with me, And it was actually with you that I really became grounded. And it was some moonology, wasn't it? We did this ritual of forgiveness, letting go, and just being able to heal through forgiveness. And I came to this point where I forgave myself for always rejecting my body, even though she was always there for me, with the words that I said that came through. And boy, that was a massive emotional release for me, because that's been a lot of my life, is self-rejection, self-sabotage, not good enough, all that. And that just made me land in my body. And that's when I became grounded and connected into myself.
Yeah, that's amazing. So that's using the full moon's energy for releasing work. So yeah, so if you're going to be doing some releasing or forgiveness work, do it on the full moon, because it is like amplified by so much, you know, and that's a really good time to do it. Yeah, so that it's interesting. Thinking now about the sort of grounding methods that I talk about, they're all very physical. So, you know, it's very obviously you're coming at it from the physical body, and actually a lot of the grounding techniques are physical, but the angle that I come from is more of a spiritual, universally connected angle, if you like, in terms of when we're working spiritually and intuitively, we can be flying around basically, and it's a lovely place to be, don't get me wrong, but sometimes, you know, we are in the physical world, so we do need to come back here. And yeah, so a lot of the grounding techniques are physical, but I would come at it from when we're in a spiritual space, or a higher self space, or an energy space, is that's tend to be where I work, whereas, you know, you're saying you work more in the physical, in that sort of aura energy, or around the body. No,
it's so I'm coming from sort of earth up. I get you're coming spiritual down, and we're meeting in the same place, but in a different in different ways. Angles. Yeah, I mean, what is it?
Shall we? Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, look, we're so polite. We could do that quite a long time. No, you.
Yeah, normal phone call, be like, shut up, I'm talking. It's just like,
because I've got a meditation that I use for grounding and connecting. You've got a meditation that you use. Shall we kind of come into it by doing that? Do you want to go through your meditation now, just to sort of bring people in and into the space, and then we can talk about some of the methods that we've used and that are out there?
Okay, perfect. Right, well, Emma, you keep an eye on the time for me, because I get carried away with this sort of stuff.
And do keep it to 5 minutes.
Keep my boundaries. This is never one for me, but yeah, keep me focused. Okay, so what I do is a nice way of trying to just land into the body is actually through the heart space. So if you bring your left hand to your heart and your right hand over, and ideally your feet to the ground, or some form of connection to the earth as much as you can. And this is sort of perfect if you just can't get outside and hug those trees. So it's just before a meeting or anything. So this is a great way of just landing into your body. So just be mindful of your breath. Don't need to change anything right now. Just feel how your body is breathing, which parts of you are moving. Allow your shoulders to relax. See if you can relax your jaw, your eyes. Feel that connection with the earth, so what you're seated on, your feet. Just feel that connection. Feeling your seat bones. And with your breath, see if you can extend your breathing. Imagine your heart's your lungs. So to breathe, you need to open your heart, open this heart space. See if you can relax your stomach a little more. So often we hold our stomach really tight, especially when we're in fear or drive mode. That fight, flight, nervous system. So see if you can let your belly hang out. that beautiful Buddha belly. And see if you can regulate your breathing. So as you're breathing in, maybe breathe in to 4. Then out 4, 3, 2, 1. And you may be breathing for longer. And just see if you can bring that balance of your in and your out breath. Maybe even tucking your chin in slightly, just so you feel that elongation of your spine from your coccyx right up to the back of your head. Just letting go of any tensions. Really allowing your heart to open for that beautiful warmth as you're opening your heart. Even imagine breathing into the back of your shoulders, into the sides of your ribs, to your navel, to your sacral. And just allow your out breath to be that letting go, that softening, releasing. Really feel yourself centering onto your seat bones, your feet. And then just allowing, just imagining your feet in sand or earth, just giving the wiggle of your toes, just so you can really feel that connection, like you're connecting to the earth. You can even picture a beam of light coming through the crown of your head, through your heart, through your sacrum, through your legs, your feet, and right down to the earth, down to that beautiful core of the earth. Just imagine you connecting. Like these roots are coming through your feet, giving them a little tug. So you feel really safe and supported. And bringing that energy up through your body, through your legs, your hips, your groin. Breathe it in into your stomach, into your heart, right up to your back of your mind, the crown of your head. And just completing this beautiful circuit of in and out breath. Allowing your energy to go down, connect to the earth, and coming back up. It's a beautiful cycle and flow. Okay.
Lovely.
I know.
I know.
Need to do that every 5 minutes.
I know. That's lovely. It's just when you go into that space, I could stay there for ages. But that's kind of takes us neatly into one of the first recommendations for grounding, which is meditation. And that meditation you've done where you're really focusing your attention inward. Mm-hmm. So then you're focusing your attention into your body, into yourself, and then you're taking that visualization further by thinking of yourself being firmly connected to the ground, either through roots or just your feet touching the ground or just your sitting bones on the chair, whatever it is. But it's that feeling of connection down, not flying around. Okay, so that and you can do that, and I mean you can do that yourself, obviously, with your visualization. You can do it by listening, and I'm sure you've got recorded meditations. Have you? I think you have. I'm right saying that.
Yeah, I've done that. I've done that through the Pajama Revolution. Lots of different meditations.
So then you've got recorded ones, or you can just Google. I mean, there's so many out there. YouTube, SoundCloud, whatever platforms. There's so many out there. you can just Google something and just see what comes up, and if it, I want to try that one, you know.
I think it comes down to the voice, isn't it, that often you can resonate with. And I often find that guided meditation is just a nice way of kind of trying to get out of your head, because sometimes even when I try and meditate, sometimes the head's just going la 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 la. Yeah. So sometimes when you can go, right, I'm just going to literally surrender and let somebody else just talk to me through this, and not trying to let it's coming out of that thinking mind that just becomes too busy and has us in that fight flight mode. That's always that drive, which is fine for certain part of your day, because we need it to wake up, we need to be able to get up and move, but we also need to come into this balance, which is lovely, because we're on the equinox right now, aren't we? Autumn equinox, which is all about balance. We need to rest into our parasympathetic nervous system, which is where the healing takes place in our body, and it can't do that if we don't transition into that. And so meditation is
it's a key one. So then that kind of explains really what grounding is, isn't it? Because we haven't actually said that, you know, what is grounding? But it is that connection to Mother Earth.
Yes.
You know, and you know, extending that is not just kind of the fact that we're just bringing awareness to our feet, but just extending that. We would not have anything, we would not exist if it wasn't for this planet, for Mother Earth. She provides our food, all of our food. She provides the materials for our houses. She provides the materials for all the chemicals, the drugs, the materials for our cars, you know, all our material goods. She literally, this planet provides everything that we need to not only survive, just exist, but also to live the lives that we do in the material way that we do. That all comes originally from the earth. It doesn't come from anywhere else.
No.
So it's, you know, we are only here because of the earth, of the planet. As in, we could disappear, the planet would thrive nicely. Thank you very much.
Wouldn't it? That's a different subject completely. But yes, it's kind of like,
and it wasn't here, we wouldn't be here.
No.
So it's just that real sort of basic understanding that we are totally reliant on the planet. But also we are totally grateful and thank you for the planet, because we wouldn't be able to exist without it. So it's that kind of connection where you are feeling your energy connect, because she wants to support us, she wants to provide for us. So we haven't got all these things just because, we've got these things because this is how it's meant to be. This is, you know, what's meant to be happening. So, but we can honor that and be grateful for that and connect that. So she wants us to connect. She wants us to feel grounded.
Yeah. And sorry, I was going to say, you've said grateful a few times. It's like you say, gratitude actually is another way of grounding. It's about holding that space and going, I'm in this present moment. What am I grateful for? And that, again, being in the present moment is grounding, isn't it? So, and
yeah, it's another topic, actually. It's another gratitude will be another good one for us to discuss, because I can sit here and because I can sit here and say I'm really grateful for, you know, all the things in my life, but it's more than that. You've actually got to feel it, and sometimes it takes a time to feel it, and then when you really connect and feel it, then you can really benefit from feeling gratitude. But that is another topic.
But I think it's connection, isn't it? And this is the things we become so I can't say it now.
Discombobulated. It's my favourite word of 2022. It just describes everything as far as I'm concerned.
So if you're basically screwed, don't know the hell what you're doing, everything feels really chaos and everything else, that's completely normal. However, you can also help yourself by grounding, isn't it? And just centering your thoughts. But, you know, we talk about all the materials that we've created as mankind from the earth. However, all our synthetic shoes and different things and being on our house actually creates a barrier from us to be able to connect to the earth, the natural energetic field that the earth provides. And it's the free electrons the earth creates, which is to sort of ground us. Because while bodies, as a general natural way of being alive, is constantly creating what we call free radicals. So every cell, it's normal for us to create that's about a billion's worth of free radicals every day. But if we don't balance that, they take away the electrons from the healthy cells of our body, which creates inflammation and cancer. So actually the free electrons that we get from Earth by grounding into that energy neutralizes those free radicals and actually brings balance back into our body. So there's lots of studies that are going through the value and the huge importance to our health from that, as well as just feeling calm and like, okay, I've got this for 5 minutes. So it's actually huge.
Extend that to food. If you eat processed foods, which have obviously gone through a process where a lot of the goodness has been taken out, and that's all you're putting into your body, that's exactly the same thing as you're saying there, with surrounding yourself with like chemical made things. It's like if you put natural sort of fresh from the earth type food, plant-based foods, then you're that's another way almost of grounding, isn't it, in a sense? So because there's less distance from the earth to you in the food.
It's pure. It's the paleo diet and paleo where we call it. Definitely it's the you haven't
water.
lost yes, very important.
Purified water rather than chlorine laden, chemically laden
water. I'm into the old coconut water, actually. That feels really good at the moment as way of grounding, because it's hydrating your body, but it's got the electrolytes, which again are elements of the earth, those trace minerals that we need for our body to function, to absorb, to release, to let go. So that's again really important, how those trace minerals, which is earth, we put into our bodies, that we need it to function. So definitely.
So there are lots of angles that we can come at it from, aren't there? But the key one, of course, and the easiest one is nature, isn't it? You mentioned hugging a tree, and the significance of that, because I know some people just go around hugging trees, how silly, but the significance of that is that tree is in the ground firmly, it's not going anywhere, it's put its roots out to stabilize it. So if you just even just lean against a tree, you don't have to physically hug it, but it's just connecting to the energy of that tree, because it's so stable, it's not going to go anywhere really, so that's a really easy one to do. But just being outside, literally stepping into the garden, the air is fresher, you might get the sun might come out and you can feel the warmth of the sun. You might feel a breeze or the wind, and you can feel the air. If it's raining, you might feel the rain. Sometimes we can't go out in the rain, we avoid the rain. Sometimes just lifting your face and getting rain on it is just lovely.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
So it's just little things like that. It's just looking at it in a slightly different way.
Which is connecting to the elements, isn't it? Again, which is all the earth's elements. So and I talked about how I connected and grounded my body from doing that exercise of the full moon. Again, it's grounding with all those aspects that are with us, isn't it? The cycles, the seasons, the equinoxes. It's all about reconnecting to what is natural. And we all have these cycles. In fact, cycles and change is actually our consistency. So if we can flow with that change, with what's happening, we're going to be healthier, rather than trying to force something and cause more friction and discoherence, which causes again inflammation, disease. So it's about going with the flow a little bit easier, and but that's again another topic of probably trusting and releasing. We could go on.
There's so many spin-offs, I tell you.
It is. We're like a tree. There we are.
But getting out of nature is good. One of the things that a lot of people discovered was walking when we had the lockdowns, because that's all we could do, and the benefits of walking. And it was lovely seeing so many people out and about walking and just enjoying being out. And there's nothing better than, if you are really emotionally charged, heightened, stressed, to just go out for a brisk walk, that sort of movement and that sort of steady momentum of walking is quite sort of grounding in itself, because you're just it's almost like a heartbeat, isn't it?
Exactly. And that's what most people instinctively did. They literally went outside to literally kind of come out of that fear, the stress, everything that was being really played upon us, and it was people's space, wasn't it, for their mind to process things. So, and a lot of people instinctively did that. So yeah, there's huge amounts you could do that. And if you think about a tree, actually, in terms of its root systems, even though it's not moving, or we don't see it's moving, yet it seems to go through the cycles. It creates, the leaves, the abundance each year, each season it grows. It's also got a huge network of connection through the fungi, interconnected to itself. So we just see what's up above here, but there's so much going on underneath, so much wisdom and intelligence, isn't there? So which would be something we can really spiritually, energetically connect to, can't we?
So just taking that a bit further as well, there's something called earthing, which is socks and shoes off and barefoot on the ground, on grass or mud, sand, or sea, or sand, but not on concrete, on roads. No. And I could be on wood, actually, but more better on just the straight earth, and a half an hour a day. And if you are able to do that, people that have done it for extended periods of time have really noticed the benefits of just feeling a lot calmer and a lot more centered as a result. And it is quite nice. I've done it in the winter times, and I've literally had, like, what happens when you stay in the same place, you kind of create a warm patch. So as in, there's heat in the earth even in cold times. So it doesn't necessarily have to be just a summer thing. I think that personally, that's why if we go on holiday to, we spend time on beaches, why we always feel good on holiday, because we're grounding, we're connecting to, because we're in the sea or whatever, we're actually doing more grounding on a summer holiday than we would normally do. And I think that's one of the reasons why we feel better, as well as obviously being away,
and the vitamin D and everything else. No, that's the thing I always used to, before I had the privilege of living by the sea, the first thing I'd do whenever I got to the sea from being there, would literally instinct, take shoes off, run, didn't necessarily have to swim, but literally just had the feet in the sand with the sea around you, and you just suddenly went, that just felt just really healing and really beautiful. So no, definitely. I mean, there's just many ways that we can ground, and I guess it's the benefits of that is not just the mental feeling good. There's a huge amount of physical relationships that will have. It reduces the viscosity of your blood, so your circulatory issues, like blood pressure, it can help. You've also got heart rate variability. You've got improved sleep. In things like with stress and menopause, it's just so much that, in fact, if you're not grounded and feeling safe and supported in your body, which is a never big thing, which is why I was having the stress aspects that I was having, because I wasn't feeling safe in my body. This is ultimately what we need to feel really be in our body, as well as getting beyond the whole social nonsense that especially women have, is that you've got to look a certain way, and if you don't look that way, you're not enough, you're not good enough. And I think that's also a big stigma that we socially need to work through and accept our bodies for what they are, and love them for what they are.
That's another topic.
We could go on.
Connected to self. So we're talking here about being connected to Mother Earth, which is a really good stepping stone to then working towards being connected to yourself. Even if you are someone that's quite connected, there is still more you can do. There is always more we can do to be connected to ourselves. It's an absolutely ongoing thing, but it's beautiful as you work through the stages. It is a beautiful experience, when you had that connection. It's like, oh my goodness, and it just feels like you're feeling more whole. It's like you're kind of making yourself up to feel more whole, which is lovely. But that is another topic.
It is, but yes, I suppose the higher you want to go spiritually and ascend, the deeper you go through your rooting, isn't it? So the more roots you need to form. So grounding is a constant balance, because you can't be doing all this work, this high work, spiritual, energetic.
I think it's like I said, that there's probably a lot that we do every day that is grounding. So you've got a dog, I've got a dog, I walk my dog every day, twice mostly. So just by default, I'm out in fields, wherever in the countryside twice a day. And there's, I'm outside. I like being outside, and so there's things that we do. But I think if we're in a place where we're feeling unstable, then we need to do something more. And we've mentioned meditation. Resting kind of fits in with that. I think it's something, there's nothing wrong with a little power nap in the day. And
breathwork's really key.
Breathing,
transitioning.
Yeah. So we've talked about being out in nature. Mm-hmm. The other thing you can do, of course, you can bring nature to you. So crystals as an obvious one. So having crystals around your house, in your bedroom. Clear quartz is the easiest one to have. Mm-hmm. If you don't have crystals, you can actually have cards. I've got a set of oracle cards, for example, that have got have got a crystal on them, and that card has been infused with the energy of that crystal. Oh. So I can actually use the card to get the energy from a crystal without having the actual physical crystal. So and then you can choose a card in terms of which crystal card is best for you at this time. So then you can go into a crystal shop and just choose intuitively, or just have clear quartz is the most amazing crystal, and they're not expensive either, and they all come from other earths. So that's bringing that. And you can also have plants.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I've got one with my could do with a bit of trimming, really. But
bringing plants into the home is like bringing nature in. So that's another way.
And they're bringing oxygen as well in, aren't they? So there's a good cycle.
And colours, bringing earthy colours into your home is another way of doing it. So if I just extend that a little bit further in terms of colour, so your base chakra, so that's your sort of your lower main chakra, should I say. I mean, it's not the lowest, but it's the lower main one in your body, and that's where you would kind of like, if you were going to focus on a chakra, that chakra you'd focus on for grounding and keeping you connected,
which is your coccyx perineum area. So it's that really deep, and your legs.
And the color of that is a really deep red, sort of rust color, which of course is a very earthy color. So if you're thinking of that color, that sort of earthy red, deep red, you can wear clothes that are in that color. So for us ladies, we can wear red knickers, for example, and that helps ground just by doing that. So you can bring colors in as well. It doesn't have to be, standing outside or hugging trees. You can there's lots of ways that you can do it, and you can bring those colors into your home. You can also bring wood in your home, like wooden floor, wooden chairs, wooden table. All of those things can actually be quite grounding. If you sit on a plastic chair, it may not be as grounding as sitting on a wooden chair.
That often causes static, which is the friction. Yes. So if you come off like that and you get electric shock, that's all to do with the different negativity charges, which is what actually earthing equalizes that, so you don't get that static. So, this is why our whole houses are earthed. Otherwise you get like electrocuted. So it's actually it's very similar in terms of what we're trying to do with our bioresonance field is to earth. So I mean, you can also get, I've not got one myself, but you can get these grounding mats actually that you plug into the electric supply and you sleep with it underneath on your bed,
which is kind of counterintuitive with an electric.
I don't know, but it's not actually using the electric. I think it's just using the grounding elements of it. So but I don't know much about it, but I've heard like people have had sort of good responses with better sleep and different things from those. But
what we can do is we can find that out and put a link in underneath when we post the
definitely. Okay, so did you want to do your did you want to see how you did your meditation, and then or however you want to do it? So
let's do it.
Okay, right.
Okay, so eyes closed. Either sitting or, you can do this standing, but you're going to be sitting perhaps on a chair, so legs uncrossed, feet flat on the ground. Some people like to take their shoes off if that's what you want to do, but that's just when you uncross parts of your body, then you're allowing energy to flow more freely through you, so it just makes it more effective. So you can have your legs crossed, but it's it's more effective if you don't. And if you have your shoes off and your feet flat on the floor, again, it's just encouraging that connection. So it just makes it a little bit easier. So what we can do is bring our attention to within, to ourselves, take our attention down to our feet. Our hands will be loosely just resting on our laps. And if you take your awareness to your feet, just be aware of that sensation where they are touching the ground. And you can bring your awareness to imagine roots coming out from the bottom of your feet. And those roots are going to travel down from your feet, travel down through the earth's layers. So they break through the earth's crust. They travel through the various layers of the earth, all the way to the center. And when they reach the center, there's a huge red ruby crystal at the very heart of the earth. And this is glowing and pulsating with wonderful grounding, supportive, stabilizing energy. And our roots wrap around this crystal, this ruby. And as they wrap around, they bring that energy back up the roots. And as that energy comes back up those roots, it deposits little tiny ruby crystals on the way. The energy travels back up through the roots, back up through the earth's layers, back up to the bottom of your feet. And now be aware, you can feel that energy coming back through your feet, up into your feet. And that ruby red, supportive, stabilizing energy comes up through your feet, up through your legs, up through your torso, up through your neck, up through your head. And that energy can come right up through your body, but you're firmly connected to the ground. And at the same time as that is happening, we can imagine now light coming down from above, like a column of light, twinkly stars, twinkly light, bright light, whatever you want to imagine. And imagine that coming down as a column into the top of your head. And this then comes down into your head, through your neck, through your torso, through your legs, down to your feet. And these energies combine within your body. So now you've got this incredible connection where you're firmly rooted, you're firmly connected to Mother Earth. And now you have created this wonderful light connection to Father Sky. So just sit with that for a minute. Just see those energies slowly pulsating through you. Feel that connection, feel the stability from the ground, and feel the wonderful light energy and support from above. And really feel those energies mixing within you and filling your energy aura, filling your physical energy space. And when you're ready, open your eyes. That was a quick version, sorry.
That was a what? Sorry.
A quick version.
Quick version, yes. So, that was really, could really feel my whole base chakra starting to open.
That's nice.
Then, and the more I could just sort of soften. It's
a really easy one. I've whizzed you through that because obviously with time, but it's a really easy one in terms of the doing a meditation to ground. It's quite a quick one. I'm going to just demonstrate another one as well that's really quick. It's called the earthing mudra.
Okay.
Grounding mudra, which mudra just means action, really. But I have to get myself in position, but we take our hands up either side of us here, and then we literally just push our hands down all the way to extend our arms so they're straight, and then they're down by our sides and straight. And if we do that 3 times, so it's almost, and you can just almost feel like your energy going down and going down into the ground. 3rd time. And I've got the sun on me, look.
Yes.
I've been lit up. You can, that's a really easy way to just ground yourself. So the thing to make it more effective is literally just to, I've got to try and move myself out of the sun.
That's all right. We can see you.
I know. That's a really easy way of, as long as you do it quite slowly, not like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't work, but just slow, like right, and just really feel you. It's almost like pushing your energy down to the earth to connect.
It's like you're feeling that resistance as you're doing it, so it's really giving you that physical sort of presence. And
that's it's quite a quick one in times of stress where you haven't got time to think, because if you're in a stressful situation, you're not going to say, hang on a minute, I'm just going to do my root meditation and come back into it doesn't work. So sometimes it's a time restraint, so that is it's a really quick and easy one just to kind of calm things down.
Hopefully. Definitely. And if you can't even do the arms, just to have that mindful breathing exercise of in for 4, out for 4, and just kind of have that conscious breathing is a really good way.
I've heard it done as a square as well. So you imagine the top of the square and then the side, and that's your 4.
So you breathe in, hold, out, hold. So it's that kind of so that's really good. What I also do actually when I'm starting with clients now is really to ensure that we're grounded and the energies are we don't interlink too much the energy. So it's about giving that boundary, which is again an aspect of grounding, really, to get them to visualize that they're standing in a square. So you literally have the north point is the front of your feet. You come out to your right, your east, back to your south, west, left, and back to your north. And then literally like you're drawing a golden square, and then you feel your feet, all 4 corners of your feet, to really be in that space. And then you draw this line right down to the core, down to earth, and it comes back up as a column of light. And it's really about holding that space that's your space, that's your boundaries. Because often if we're not grounded, we don't have these boundaries and we're bouncing off other people's energy, becoming even more chaotic. So
grounding is a way of protecting yourself as well, because when you've got that energy centered and grounded and supported, that actually acts as protection against other people's energies, against any sort of psychic attack that might be coming, or it's another good way of just. So it works on so many levels, Gemma, doesn't it? Just really interesting what we've spoken about today. And obviously we've given some tips and ideas, and hopefully that's been useful for people. But it just shows you it can come from all different angles, and the benefits of that to the physical health are ultimately huge. So I think if anyone takes like one task away from listening to this what we call it, podcast interview, I don't know what, is to do at least one thing grounding every day without fail, and just get it into your sort of daily routine habit. And you could switch it around, or maybe you might find it easier to have one thing that's the same that becomes a habit, and then gradually build on other things.
It's about having that sort of just that consistency, isn't it? And just having that space, but it's also knowing that you need to give yourself that space to ground. And actually the more you do it, the more you want it, because it feels really good, doesn't it? So but yes, I think that's a lot, really. So in summary then, Emma, would you say that it's absolutely vital for our health, and there's multitude ways of doing it. Nature is the free resource out there, so use it every cycle, every time, every day.
And remember, she's there for us. Mother Earth is there for us. She wants to support us. She doesn't given us all this, out of guilt or shame, and she wants us to have it. So we use it. We don't abuse it. Obviously, that's not right, but we use it. It's okay to use it.
I think it's taking what you need, isn't it? And only what you need, isn't it?
And that's okay.
Yeah, definitely. And then, like you say, we've got our breathing to do. We can do meditations. It's just really bringing in little multitudes, and it's not something you have to do for like hours on the day. It can be just little every 5 minutes, every sort of couple of hours or something, just to keep rechecking and coming in, so you just don't come into this massive overwhelm of stress. And it also centers and grounds you to be able to make decisions, doesn't it? So it gives you much more clarity of, because I think we're at the moment, won't go on too much anymore, but we're on a crossroads. I feel we're going through. It's like where we wish to choose and which place we want to go. And actually we can continue the old path, or do we choose a more joyful path? So having that grounding gives us a space to give us that clarity of mind of where we want to go. So
So I think 2 takeaways then. One is find something that you can do every day that fits, that feels comfortable with you. And then also the second thing is then to find things that then you can add on to that, and find what it might be finding a certain type of meditation, or meditation doesn't work. Listen to music or something, I don't know, but find your thing that works for you, because it's different for everybody.
Yeah, and music can help because you get different frequencies, don't you? Resonance, like hertz.
And also it evolves, it changes, obviously. The things that might work now then don't work because you've evolved, and so you need different things, so that's fine as well. So I think it's really just like follow it intuitively as much as possible, but do something.
Yes. Definitely,
because it will help you, it will just like benefit you so much. So
yeah, and we'll certainly be less stressed, and we'll be a lot happier, because that's ultimately what we're here for, right? To have fun. We're not here for get stressed, work hard, and pop our clogs.
So thank you.
Yes, thank you, Emma. This has been amazing.
Gemma, and thank you everybody who's going to listen to this.
Yeah. Perfect. We hope it's helpful. Definitely. All right. Thanks again. Take care.